Good afternoon. So if you didn't realize it, you are in the workshop for UpliftHER. Thank you for playing. I would like to introduce our speakers, and the way we're going to introduce them is with their superstar qualities. So first we have Kathy Dunbar, our SNR Governor-elect. Kathy's superstar quality is somehow being able to excite people, that's for sure, and to engage them with something she can't put her finger on. Optimistic enthusiasm, and she can just punt. And we have Jen Young. And Jen is our SNR District 2 Director. Jen's superstar quality is her ability to find the silver lining in all things thrown her way.
Oh yeah.
Good or bad. A real asset in serving in Soroptimist. So enjoy, and I will introduce our speakers.
All right. All right. First, now you've been introduced to us. We're going to do a little icebreaker, just for a few minutes, just to get you kind of rolling. The name of this icebreaker is called Women Who Wow. So we are going to give you a minute to think of a woman that you would love to have lunch with, a woman in history or even currently, that you would love to have lunch with, and what would you ask her? So we're going to give you a little minute to think of that, and I'm just going to give you an example of mine. I would love to go out to lunch with Glennon Doyle. She wrote a book, she's written several. She wrote a book called Untamed, and it is an amazing story of her life, and I have goosebumps, of her life and of how we are as women, and how we can be untamed, and it's okay. So that's my deal. And do you have one?
I do.
Jen?
Mine is Maya Angelou. I had the privilege of seeing her speak. It must have been in the 1990s at UC Davis. And she could barely walk. But she powered her way up the stairs and she spoke for an hour and a half. And it was just, sorry, I'm short. And it was just, thinking of it today, I still get goosebumps because it was so powerful and so uplifting and so meaningful, and it spoke to every woman in that auditorium. And I still have the book, I know why the wild cage bird sings, and I still have my tickets that I bought for that event, so it was very
We'll give
special.
you a minute to think, and then we'll ask for a few of you to give us your thoughts. Get the timer out. This is where we need music.
Da, da, da. So does anybody have something?
Dora, open here.
Anybody?
All right.
Ray.
Oh, well, I love yours, it's very inspirational, but mine is Sue Grafton. She's an author, she did ABC.
Could you stand up, please, Ray?
Oh,
Oh, maybe we should do this, because
Oh, really, you can't hear me?
we can't hear you. You're so, you have such a soft, beautiful voice.
Mine is Sue Grafton, she's an author, she did all the ABC books, and I love reading her books, and she died before she could finish Z. And so I'd like to find out what happens in the whole, because her children didn't want to have anybody finish the book, and she only halfway did it. But anyway, Sue Grafton, because I think she's pretty inspirational as it is too.
I'm gonna go around here.
Yeah.
It's a long time since I read.
Get our steps in. Kate Dunham, S.I. Turkey Meadows. Margaret Thatcher, truly a female leader, the first Prime Minister of England that was female. Amazing woman.
Anybody else? I'll go back.
Cheryl Henning, I'm Pahrump Valley. I would say Helen Ray. I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. I
Yeah.
forgot to say anything else about that, but that's who I would like to sit down with.
Nice.
We'll do two more after this.
This is a woman I don't know much about, but Patricia Nash. She is a person that started a purse bag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they are now in not in Monterey. I used to live in Monterey. They are now in Macy's everywhere, and she's very successful.
Over here?
Oh, come over there.
Florence Nightingale, she was not only an exceptional nurse, she really changed the paradigm. She was a statistician, she kind of created epidemiology, which is the study of how diseases can move through, unfortunately, societies. But she kind of led the way, and that was back in the 1800s.
Mine is Regina King. She is an Oscar award winner actress. She won the Oscar in 2019 for Is Beale Street to Talk. Her son recently committed suicide. And I'm a mom, and I'm very connected with my son. And I know that losing a child is one of the hardest things a woman would have to go through. But to see her now today and her strength and her ability to move on, I would just love to sit down and have coffee or tea with her. Thank you.
All right. So, what is UpliftHER?
What is UpliftHER?
Well, let's tell them what it is. So, beginning in October 2024, SI shared information about obstacles, and it's a new program to get new member engagement. It's an initiative from the program department. And so once a quarter, an obstacle that women and girls face on their path to formal education and economic empowerment was a focus. Beginning in October 2024, SIA shared information about the obstacle as well as suggested projects related to that obstacle. Clubs participated in the quarterly focus by sharing SIA posts and posting their own project with the hashtag Soroptimist UpliftHER. In October 2024, the focus was intimate partner violence. Nearly 1 in 3 women will experience it during their lifetime, according to the World Health,
WHO.
the WHO, thank you. Financial abuse, we don't usually think about that very often. We think about domestic violence abuse or intimate partner violence. Occurs in 99% of domestic violence cases where abusers control or sabotage their partner's financial resources. When women and girls are educated, they have the skills to command decent wages and the resources to escape unsafe relationships sooner. So what are some ideas that we can do to bring this into focus? One of the things that we can, and we're not going to read the slides to you. I always hate going to a presentation where somebody just reads the slides to you because you can do it on your own. Some ideas: you can partner with the local shelter, provide professional dress clothing for women who have experienced violence, and provide training on interview basics, resume writing, and career advancement. Clubs were asked to be sure to report this as a big club goal, or big goal accelerator. So clubs should have been reporting anything that they did that was related to this particular focus.
So does anyone, is there anyone here who their club did something last year in relation to this focus? And you want to tell us about it?
I admit you have me confused. Because when you're talking about UpliftHER and you're talking about providing some of the programs to the shelters, I will tell you that when we went through some of those things, it didn't qualify for the Big Goal Accelerator. Because it was not directly tied to education. So I don't know that it's true when women and girls are educated, right? So that statement is true. But if you did an UpliftHER project that was to provide professional apparel for women for interviews, I'm not certain that that will qualify for Big Goal Accelerator. And that, I think there's some confusion there, or at least if there isn't, as I look at our SIA who can probably address this. So that was a problem, so we didn't do some of those programs, we looked for other ways to help. But we had to add an educational component, or our proposal was rejected as a Big Goal Accelerator. And we had that happen twice, so.
Well, that's a really good question to go back to SIA about.
And SIA is here. So Soroptimist UpliftHER is not necessarily to give credit towards our big goal. It is really a pipeline strategy. It's really tied to raising awareness to women and girls who already have organizations working on their behalf, and we are supporting that. So we have that period initiative and things like that. There's a whole organization that does that, and they have their own goals, so on and so forth. But it's really to raise awareness to these women and girls about who we are. So perhaps eventually we can broaden our reach. BGAP is our opportunity if you're doing projects that are not between programs, but you want credit. BGAP is your means to get credit, and you can tweak them so that it does have the education requirement that Madam Parliamentarian discusses, and it can count towards our BGAP, and towards our big goal and our impact. So I just want to clarify, you don't necessarily do Soroptimist UpliftHER to get big goal credit. It's really about just making us known, and it's about you having some flexibility to play in other spaces other than our training programs.
I was gonna be saying BGAP.
Big Goal Accelerator Project.
I like that, big gap.
I am the acronym queen, so stop me all weekend when I throw out an acronym and you don't know what I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha.
Kate Dunham, Turkey Meadows. Again, if you're looking for some way to educate women, I'm a financial professional, and you'll have no idea how many women I see that have come through a life-changing experience who don't know who pays the bills in their house, and it's not them. So they don't know what their financial situation is, they don't know where the money is, they don't know where the passwords are, they don't know if they have a will. And if you as a club really want to help women, I think financial awareness education might be a great start, because that is just critical. You get to a point where you lost your spouse, you don't know who takes over, you're already traumatized. It's just really tragic, and I see it all too often. So, and start young, start with your teenage girls. If you have a S club, have a financial literacy program for them, because they can't learn soon enough about balancing a checkbook and what a credit card will do to you if you run it up.
Thanks, Kate. Okay, we'll do two more and then we'll go on.
I was just gonna piggyback on that, because I used to go into the colleges to teach about credit card awareness, because as soon as they get ready to go to school, they get inundated with people offering them all of these credit cards, and they do not understand about compound interest, they don't understand anything about if you make minimum payments, you're never gonna get that bill paid. So I think that that's a piece that we can work with whomever it is, but the credit card awareness. And then we're blessed, we also have a financial advisor that specifically has geared his whole practice toward women. Because as you were saying, when a woman loses her spouse, she loses half of her income a great deal of the time. And that's the reason we have so many older women that are in financial poverty.
Just really quickly submit, I want to piggyback on what you said about the clothing, and so.
We can't hear you.
I'm gonna just kind of piggyback off of something said. When we're talking about professional clothing, think about women who are going into college, like even a community college, who might be eligible to take part in an internship. And that internship process usually involves an interview. So if you're doing something in that realm, then yes, you're meeting, I believe, the educational portion of that ideal. Am I wrong?
Partially right, partially wrong.
Okay, we're kind of steering away from this little focus here, but that's okay.
All right, so if you're creating a training session on how to get internships, how to present yourself, how to fill out forms, and you follow through with that, seeing how they're doing, and in that you add your professional clothes closet or something, now you can probably qualify for Big Gold. But if it's just providing the clothes so that they have something to dress for an internship, that's probably an uplifter. But one of the things that I wanted to make people really aware of, having been a Soroptimist now for 45 years, many times organizations complain that someone's not listening to us as members. UpliftHER is SIA's response recognizing that particularly in North America, a lot of clubs had very cherished service projects that didn't fall within the brand, okay? Live your dream, dream it, be it, and now Big Gold Accelerator. And they recognize that, all right, these UpliftHER programs, the focus should be on, we can help in many ways, but recognize that the shelters exist. Don't duplicate what they do. Don't spend your club's money on things that other organizations are doing. So if you want to raise awareness of trafficking, we'll find a trafficking agency. Right, I'm sorry, I'm taking up too much time. But the idea being that this was really SIA's way of addressing some of these traditional things like trafficking or domestic violence that are no longer the focus of SIA, but can be the focus for getting you out in your community as Soroptimists and gaining members and partnerships. Right?
Well, you should be giving this workshop. No, I appreciate that, and it's really great. And one thing I wanted to just get back to what this
Yes.
particular segment is, and I've noticed it when I was in the airport recently, in the restrooms, they have signs all over for you can get help. If you're being trafficked or you've got a jerk boyfriend that is, controlling you, then there's help. And I thought that was in the stalls, it was on the walls, I thought that was incredible. And this is also, to try to think of ways that you can get that awareness out. And I love this discussion, it's really great. So let's go on to the next little deal. Is in January, it is human trafficking. For every 10 trafficking victims identified globally, 5 are adult women and 2 are girls. And what I have been told by one of our members who works very diligently about this in Sacramento Valley is that the average age is 12. That's an average age, which is really, really alarming. And so one of the things, I don't want to go read all this stuff to you, but I want to tell you a story that some of you might not know about. Last year we did a workshop on the elevator speech around this time of August, and I went to an event at SI Gold River, Rancho Cordova Gold River, and a woman got up and talked about how she heard one of us talking about giving her elevator speech in a nail salon. And she called her over and said, I need to talk to you because a trafficker has my daughter and my granddaughter. And so this was September 6th. In that time period, that message was sent out with this elevator speech. They saved the woman and her daughter, and they got them located in a safe spot in Sacramento, and then they relocated them to LA. And all of this, they're all safe, the girls in school, and the grandmother is now a member of SI Rancho Cordova Gold River. And to me, that is a power of what we have here. This is, all we have to do is talk for 60 seconds, and you can help somebody. So with this trafficking, it is like the 80 corridor is a huge vehicle for all of this. And to think of ways that you can, and another personal story for my club, we were doing these public forums. Well, the only people who went to those public forums were people who already knew about it. So we decided to go to the high school and start working with those girls that are, and children, or teenagers, that are the vulnerable, potential victims. And so there's, other things that you can do in your community to get this awareness out. And again, it's knowing about this, and there are quite a few organizations that work in the law enforcement that work towards, nabbing these terrible people. And does anybody have anything to say about this or about what your club has done? I don't wanna cry.
I'm Patty from SI Grass Valley, and we recently had a symposium, and it was for anybody in the community, anybody that wanted to come. We had grandparents come, we had people throughout the community. It was very successful, and then we had booths from resources and that could provide help. We had 3 or 4 survivors talk. We had the district attorney, and we've been getting cards from people that say that because of the symposium and information, that they were able to help their granddaughter or grandson. A mother found out her son was planning on killing himself because he was being human trafficked, and she had no idea. So we've got so much positive feedback, and from the donations from the event, we were able to hire an education person that goes around to the high school and junior high schools to educate them, because it is occurring at a young age.
Yeah.
So that was our
Great.
experience. That was very
Great,
fun.
thank you so much. Sure.
Can I ask you just to expand upon, how did you advertise? How did you make the community aware of the event so that because you said it was so successfully attended, and we've done a couple of human trafficking events that Kathy referenced, that we found people that were already knew about human trafficking, they were in clubs and things like that. So how did you go about spreading the word so that you actually got people that could use those resources?
We were able to get it advertised on the radio. We're a small town, and people listen to this.
We're
one.
Auburn, so.
Okay.
Sister towns.
And we just dropped off flyers, advertising it at all the different agencies and schools, and we had a big campaign as far as getting the message out there. And one of our members would go around to different organizations and to schools and talk to them and let them know what we were planning. So lots of flyers and lots of promotion through attending meetings. I think it was in the college, and the room was full. And so people want to know what's going on.
Right, great, thank you. Anybody else have anything to say?
I'm from SI Chico, and several years ago, probably maybe it's a dozen years ago, we had a president who was very focused on this, and we learned so much, and we had a lunch, like you're talking about, that was open to the public, and it was discussed at length. We had victims, we had law enforcement, we had people that told us about it. unfortunately, I think, as time has gone by, it isn't something we've been focusing on as much. And it's always been, I learned so much back then that it's always been something that I've been acutely aware of. But, you know, I think a lot of us are just very naive about the reality of this, so. That's kind of why I'm here, you know.
Well, good, thanks for coming.
Well, SI Bidwell has picked up where SI Chico did that years ago. We are very active, and a lot of you have seen the coffee sleeves. I designed those. they are on, I want you, when you use them, they're pretty good. They're not difficult to design, as most of you know. So make a copy, design, and that's a great way to get the word out in your coffee shops. The posters are also on there for you to share on the Regions Canva side. The posters can go in bus station, in gas stations. We put them particular in our bus lines, so there's some awareness there. But I have actually another question for SIA. Alicia, is this okay for us to do all year and just pick and choose, or do we have to go month by month? That's my biggest question about the Uplift program. Or can we just pick what works for us?
So we have designated months where we are recognizing or raising awareness around other causes. So for October, it's the intimate partner violence. That's the focus. January is trafficking. March is single parenting. And May, as I spoke to earlier, is period poverty. Now, we're talking about trafficking right now, and this is our focus typically in January, where we're, raising awareness for clubs. To Madam Parliamentarian's point, we want to play in different spaces. You get the opportunity to play in this space. But if you want to get credit towards our impact for the good work you're doing, I'll give you an example of what you can do it or how you can do it. You can provide a scholarship for a woman or women who have experienced trafficking, and if appropriate, offer a career or college mentoring program, and be sure to report it as a Big Goal Accelerator project or a Live Your Dream Award if you give one to a survivor of trafficking. So you see the spin here, that we are in the dream business. I want you to, if there's one thing I leave with you this weekend, we are in the dream business. We are Soroptimists, and we don't diminish these other areas and these other needs that women have and these other obstacles that women have faced. But we are in the dream business, and what that means is that we want to empower women through access to education. So when we talk about getting credit, it's not to give them training around the obstacle itself. You see, that's the difference. It is to empower them through their own education so they can rise above that obstacle. So that's the delineation. So handing out pamphlets on trafficking and period poverty do not meet their criteria. However, if you give a woman money to continue her education who has suffered from trafficking, then that's the business we're in.
And that's not our talking point.
And that's your talking point. Okay, thanks.
And I'm sorry, can I get you to repeat the fourth one?
It's gonna come
We're
up.
going through that, we're going through these here.
We're going month by month.
Yeah. So we're on number 2, we're going to number 3, take it away.
That was what we were gonna talk about, is the scholarships and the financial support and all of that. So March 2025, the focus is single parenting. And more than 50% of first-time student parents leave college within 6 years of enrollment without completing their degree. 2.7 million single mothers currently attend college in the US. So how are we gonna help these parents? They have no other financial support. Dad's out of the picture. They might be getting some kind of government assistance, either EBT cards or government assistance and cash, Medicare, Medi-Cal, and California's called Medi-Cal. So what can we do? That's where the Live Your Dream Award comes into play. You should be using that avenue to connect with these parents, because that's one of the criteria of Live Your Dream. They're the main income of the household, correct? So we need to make sure that we are getting as many applicants as we can. And in our district, and two of our clubs, if we have an excess of applications, we share with another club, because we don't have the financial means to support all of our applicants. So we kind of help each other out, so we can spread the wealth as much as possible. And how do we do that? We connect with college counselors at the community colleges. We have UC Davis. So we talk to college counselors and get that information out there. They have the direct contact with the parents. And I can say that last year in my club, I want to say we gave away $20,000. So we're able to do that from our fundraising. So, you know, when you're fundraising, this is what you need to tell the people that attend your fundraisers. This is where your money goes. We are giving it to women and girls to empower them, to educate them. So the talking points we need to give when we're doing these things, we need to be really sure of what we're saying, and we need to show the impact of what that attendees say to the Woodland Wine Fest, where their money is going, and we always have a poster showing, this is what we've given in the past year. This is where the money goes. This, you know, for Live Your Dream, here's the Live Your Dream thing. For high school scholarships, I think we gave around $10,000 in high school scholarships. So you have to start young too. You have to empower these women when they're young. So single parent, I'm sorry, I'm on a soapbox. Yeah, so any ideas of what have you guys done to support single parents in your community? Think outside the box with Live Your Dream. What else have you do? Okay.
I'm with the SI in Auburn, American River. We started the Continue the Dream Award this year. And so that we go back to our original Live Your Dream awardees, and we have them reapply for continuing funds. Because you give them money the first time, but they're going to school for more than 1 year, and their needs continue. And they can't reapply for a Live Your Dream, so you have to establish something else that they still can get additional funds from you.
Yeah, Woodland did the same thing. We contact our Live Your Dream awardees and say, we're here for you. Do you need more assistance? What can we help you with? And then we ask them to become members. So, anybody else? In fact, we have like 3 members, I think, that have Live Your Dream awardees that are now members of our club.
Hi, Linda Fitzgibbons with Soroptimist International Pahrump Valley. So we worked with one of the local school social workers, and their 3rd grade group of teachers needed to do a fundraiser for their 3rd grade level. So what they do is they put together a parents' night out. And they allow all of the children, within reason, I think they'll take up to 60 kids, literally kindergarten through 5th grade. The parents are allowed to come in, bring their kids to the school where they watch a movie, they have popcorn and pizza, and the parents actually get a 2-hour break. And a lot of those parents are single moms and dads. And so it cost them, I think it was $20 or $25 or $10, something like that. It was very inexpensive. So Soroptimist stepped up and said, we will sponsor all the single parents that would like to attend, their children to attend this event. Not only did we pay for it, but then we made them cute little goodie bags for the parents. And then we also, our members came and passed out pizza, watched the kids, watched the movie with the kids, passed out popcorn. So it was not only just, you know, us pushing money into and giving this opportunity for these single parents to actually have a few minutes of their own time. And we did it so quickly, but this next year, if we decide to do it again, we are gonna have an educational component to this, where we'd be able to offer something for those parents to go to something educational during this time period. So it was a blast. We had a lot of fun ourselves doing this, and it was the parents, appreciated it because most of them couldn't even afford the $10 to send their kids to this event. So it was well received.
Anybody else? Bueller?
So when we get through the next segment, we'll have some time to talk about lots of other things too. Period poverty. Sure.
I know it's got
I'm messing with my notes.
They're power naps.
So the final focus in May is period poverty. And across the diverse countries and territories of SIA and around the globe, women and girls suffer from this, the insecurity of not having the correct equipment, hygiene equipment, materials, pads, Tampax. And I have to tell you, one of the stories I heard when I first joined Soroptimist that kept me here was Poco's panties. And a lot of you know about that story, but I heard about it kind of piecemeal, and I've heard about more of it as I've been a Soroptimist. But the fact that we got together and gathered up a lot of underwear, and somebody contacted Procter & Gamble, and somebody, Trudy Mills, contacted Michael Jordan, and she called him up and said, want to help us out. And he did. He matched the amount of panties that we were able to put together. I say we, I wasn't here, but anyway. As Soroptimists, we were able to put together, and it was a mountain. It was 23,000 pairs of panties or something, maybe 22, I don't know, a lot. And so women took them over there. And they took over the hygiene products. And when I heard about that, I went, oh my God, I never even heard of being insecure about that. So to think as a local level what we can do to help women or girls who are, they don't have the resources to have these, some of the schools have the Tampax dispensers or the pad dispensers. But again, as Aisha said, and as Nancy has said, this is a vehicle, this is a method to get our name and our mission out there so that we can help them alongside the other groups that do this. And we have a hand up over here.
And keep in mind that period poverty keeps girls from going to school.
Yeah.
If they don't have the pads or the tampons, they're not able to go to school. And it's an embarrassment for men. It happens every month, right? So if you miss a week of school every month, that's 12 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever it is. Yeah, some schools go year round. So you need to keep that in mind too. It's not just, I can't afford it. It's going to affect me in the long run. So we got
You usually don't need a mic. I'll go. Jean from SI Tahoe Sierra.
Yeah.
So we actually applied for a grant and we received $1,000. Our schools, in the interim of us doing the project, had actually decided to do it for the high school, so we focused just on the middle school. But we gathered material, made little period pouches to leave in the schools. And each teacher had a few in her class, the nurses had them. And we have like one nurse, small area, one nurse for 6 schools. So she carried them around, but they kept them in the office for them to use. And we got $1,000 and was able to make like 300, got some donations on the materials. We also, my daughter is a seamstress with a clothing line. So yeah, some really cute material, but she sent us a pattern that 5 stitches, we were done in 5 minutes with them. And we had a class that ended up having the girls come in a sewing club, and they made some. And it even went a little further that one of the ladies in town always goes to Cambodia for some things, her service projects. And we were able to give her enough to do 500 and pass out there. So it was a really easy project, and we did find helpers that would give us discounted products. But they were just little tiny pouches, and 12, 13, 14-year-old girl. And the high school actually did it on their own, got a program going at the same time we did, so there's a need.
And I did say earlier that it would keep girls from going to school, but it also keeps women from going to work. And that impacts their income for their family, and a lot of times, they're the only ones working.
Well, if you have a quilter in your club, we happen to have a quilter, and her group is getting together and they're making little quilted pouches for us, for our club, because it's a focus of our president for this year. And we're actually starting in the elementary grades because kids are starting their period way, way younger. And so rather than waiting till middle school, we're gonna do the same thing in the elementary area.
And I neglected to introduce myself previously, I apologize. Nancy Becker from SI Metropolitan Las Vegas. On the period project, the reason that Jen keeps talking about education, they can't go to school. If you arrange with the schools and they can document the number of girls that they know are missing because they lack hygiene products, now that number, it can rise it up into the big goal accelerator because it's allowing them educational opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have. It's a little hard to track because you can't do it by the number of packages that you give out because you're gonna duplicate girls. But your school can help you, and even if the number is only 10 per year, that's 10 more towards the 500,000 goal. So that's how you can take the UpliftHER in this particular field and also add it as a big goal accelerator. And I think that's partially what you would do.
Yeah. In my former life, I was the homeless liaison for my local school district. And I worked there for 4 or 5 years. And I worked directly with the school nurses. Before this was even a thing, I would get school nurses saying, she's not coming to school again because her mother can't afford pads. So luckily I had a grant where I could go, this is like I said, pre-Soroptimist for me. I could go and buy them with my grant and take them to the schools. And we had one point of contact, and there was no embarrassment, no judgment. The girls knew who to go to, and that's how we documented it, because we had to show the product of what we were doing. So, anybody else?
I'm Cheryl Morris from SI Trinity County. We started the period poverty this last year, and we partnered with Holiday Market, and they matched what we contributed, and then they even donated more. And so we worked with our school nurse, we have one for the entire county, that she distributed, because we've got the mandate to have those products in the schools, but we don't have the funding for it. So we were able to provide that, and it's kind of starting to grow.
I want to segue into that because I know Holiday Market, and we have two in our community. And one of the things about getting donations or help from businesses are the smaller businesses. And Holiday Market is each individual store is owned by like same as grocery outlet. Each individual store is a franchise. So those are the places you can get a lot of help as far as getting, I'm saying equipment, but product. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, so yeah, it's really good to use all your resources.
And if you just included, I mean, the last line of this says, education and management straw health. If you just included a little card with your club's information on it, but on the back side, kind of what the elementary steps are, depending on what age you're working with, but for the little ones, just kind of what to expect. It could be the steps. I have 2-year-old grandchildren. So we were watching Miss Rachel the other night, and she was going steps like 1 through 8 of potty training. So I mean, it was like really, really simple, but you could do something like that where you just had the steps that they needed to follow initially, and that would give you the educational component, and it would qualify them for your big goal accelerator. The B gap, the B gap.
One here and one there. She was first.
No, she was first. Sue's been raising her hand.
Yes, so we, before school is out, in June, we were doing a project to get product. And so we're meeting this week, and we're gonna be making packets of product, and we're partnering with, our charter school. They have a food pantry, and so we're gonna make them available to the food pantry.
Oh, great.
And then through our, Churchill Drug and Treatment Program, they have a food pantry as well, so we're gonna partner with them for product. So, and then we have a brochure we're putting in with it, and one of our members said, can we translate it into Spanish? So we're working on that as well.
That's important, that's important. And any language that's prevalent in your community.
I'm a little confused. Our group, we do a lot of things, but we don't necessarily pay attention about big goal accelerator, whether it meets the criteria. Whether it meets the criteria, does it matter? I mean, do we, everything we do, does it have to be?
No, right.
I mean, this is just.
I wanna answer that.
Okay.
I'll answer it as best I can in SIAEs.
Okay.
The reason, so we talk about getting donations from local businesses and stuff, and we talk about, I thank the sponsors for helping us put on SDR. Well, Soroptimist, SIA needs that help too. And so in order to solicit the higher end women who have the money that want to give it away, we have to prove that we're doing what we're doing. And part of the reason why we report as clubs to SIA and meet this criteria is so that it can count. If we can go to Melissa French Gates or Mackenzie Scott or Oprah or anyone and say, would you like to contribute to our cause? Here, we affected 500,000 women in this particular time period. That's why we need, it's not because we all want documents and all of these forms filled. That's not, who wants to do all that just for fun? We want to do it so that we can prove that we are doing what we're doing. So yeah, we all do a lot more than we report. I know we do. I mean, I know our club has. But if it meets that criteria, then it will help Soroptimist International of America and ultimately SI. So we want the world to know what we're doing. Yes?
Very well put.
Yeah, we just want to show what our impact is, and that's why we keep talking about Big Goal Accelerator.
When Soroptimist was a total open service organization, and everybody did all these different projects, that was fine in the 1940s or the 1950s. It isn't fine today. Today in order to get the kinds of grants and money we want from the Oprahs or those people with that kind of wealth, you have to have a brand. You have to be standing for something, and something that isn't already covered by a dozen other organizations. So after a great deal of studies, SIA's board came to the conclusion that what is the one single thing Soroptimist will stand for, and that's education for women and girls so that they can improve their lives.
Yes.
In order to do that, they're asking us to recognize that our ability to get fundraising locally and internationally is on that brand concept where we can sell that this is what we stand for. But what they have also done in the last few years by coming up with the Big Goal Accelerator, that's how we count. This is how we're helping women and girls get the education they need to raise themselves. Those 3 projects are designed for that. then this project covers those other areas that we, as women, have traditionally been involved in or have become involved in, like trafficking awareness, domestic violence. Period is a newer one, but that's, so the issue is, if you can do an UpliftHER, that is also a big goal, you're improving that brand impact. That ability of our fundraising council internationally at SIA to go out and talk to the Oprahs or the Gates and say, this is how we're impacting this many hundreds of thousands of women and girls. If we go to them with too spread apart a message, we're just another service organization. And that's not where they focus their money. So that was the point behind all of this. It wasn't to tell us we couldn't do high school scholarships anymore or do domestic violence awareness. It was to make us be able to stand for something that would really get us the kind of community money that we wanted. And the UpliftHER program is to deal with those other areas that we all believe in, but is not going to get the brand impact necessarily. But our members really want to work on some of these areas, and so they recognize that. And it becomes a feed for those community partnerships that then may get us the membership that we need. And that's really what Uplift is about. So, and I'm sorry, I get talking because I'm very passionate. Even after 45 years, I believe in our mission. And we can do it. We just have to do it smartly in a modern world where we're not people like me who's 70 years old. We want the people who are 35 years old, right? They think in a completely different way than we do.
And I think sometimes we get caught up in, well, awards, right? Get these awards, right? And so it almost becomes kind of a competition, so you're afraid to share ideas. Don't be afraid to share ideas, because sharing ideas, if the other club hasn't thought of it and you thought of it, it's really successful, steal it.
Yeah,
It's called lovingly lifted,
You're going
not
to take,
stealing.
You're gonna take that program, and you might tweak it a little. That means something to make what your community needs. But think, if they reached 500, if you reach 10 to start with, especially if it's the first time you did it, the next time the word's gonna spread, and you're gonna get more people and more people and more people. So we need to start thinking, instead of us, when you think of, or just me, club-wise, we need to think we. And I really want to emphasize that. And I want you guys to use the resources. All these slides we showed you are on the SIA website. There's tons of information. We stole the slides, by the way. It's okay. So what I would suggest, when I did the QR code?
What was October?
October was
Domestic violence.
intimate
Partner violence.
And it's my understanding that it's gonna start back up in October again, am I right?
Yes, the same program.
Yes, so this isn't a one and done. This is gonna continue. So that's why I say, talk about ideas, start taking notes, share the ideas, because you're gonna impact so many more people if you take those steps.
And I just, I want to address the issue of, the timing of these projects, because different clubs are doing these types of projects all year long. But as I understand it, one of the reasons for giving specific time periods for UpliftHER was that when all the clubs, all over SIA, and don't forget that's the Pacific, Japan, Korea, South America, Canada, all of North America, you get everybody focusing on these areas all at the same time, putting it on Facebook, sending it out. That amplifies the message. So that's why we have specific time frames. And if your club can't do it that particular month, there's no wrong time to do a good thing. But when you can do it in the time frame given, then definitely get it on your social media and share it with your community.
And it doesn't have to only be done during that time frame, right? You could do this all year long, but maybe make a specific push for that particular idea in that time frame, but just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Do it in the summer.
Is there a question in the back row? I think you've raised your hand a couple of times.
I'm sorry.
So the reason, like, for sex trafficking and human trafficking is in January is because that's the national month.
Right.
And that's also right before Super Bowl hits. And Super Bowl is like one of the biggest trafficking events in the country. I put on a lot of sex trafficking, human trafficking panels. And we do it in the beginning of February for that, for nurses, for hospitals. Think outside the box. The whole purpose of UpliftHER, as Aisha had said from SIA, is so we can get Soroptimist brand out there. And so when you partner with, here locally in Reno, your local nonprofits, such as for us it's Awaken, then we use our platform and our members to know that, hey, there's actually a nonprofit out here that helps this. We're not recreating the wheel, we are helping them, and in hopes they will also use their platform to spread our mission and our vision. Hopefully nationally, SIA is partnering with Truckers Against Trafficking, and they have an entire thing on how to educate truck drivers, and same with Love and all the gas stations. They train their employees on this and they educate people. So it's like one of those, that was my thing for trafficking, but to look at the local nonprofits, not just national nonprofits, but local nonprofits that are already doing this, and using your platform to uplift that nonprofit. That's the goal of UpliftHER.
And let's keep in mind when we talk about trafficking, we're not just talking about human sexual trafficking.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things that are trafficking, like labor trafficking.
We
Like
have
that.
about 3 minutes left. Anybody else?
Yeah, agricultural, I mean, how many people have seen the people on the side of the road with no transportation? They're sitting there, it's 110 degrees outside, they're under a tarp selling strawberries. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you've never.
Oh, I've seen them,
Yeah.
but I would have never related that to trafficking. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not, yeah. Who had their, anybody over here? Is there home? Well, hopefully this helps. So if you scan the QR code, you're gonna get the whole presentation, you're gonna get our talking points. So you can take that back to your club and share the information with them. And, you can contact Kathy or I at any time. If you have any questions about this, we can, if we don't have the answers, we know where to find them.
Yes.
So are there any questions or comments before we, wow, we made it through that. Cool.
Great, good job.
So thank you everybody for attending. We appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your time.